Hi guys! Today I am bringing you the 2020 quarantine journal tag from Love Lynns Life. I love Love Lynns Life. If you've not seen her journaling account, that would completely surprise me, but go check it out either way. So there is a bunch of questions, 9 questions. I've got them written down. So we're going to kind of work through them a bit and kind of talk about my personal journals that I finished this year. So just to start this video off, I'm only going to be using my personal journals for these questions, just because otherwise if I go down a rabbit hole of everything else, it's going to be a very long video. So question number 1 is, what was your favourite journal of the year? So this is quite a hard question to answer, and I feel like a lot of us probably will feel that this year, because actually when we think about it, a lot of our journals have been filled with, you know, quite a bit of joy, but also a lot of anxiety and concerns. And, you know, we've really had to live in our journals, like if we use journaling as kind of a therapy to get through this year. So that all my journals are so near and dear to me from this year especially, but also they've got a lot of negativity in them. So I think it's hard to pick an absolute favourite, but I did love working in this journal. This was a graduation gift from my parents. And I think because of that kind of sentimental aspect of this journal, it was really lovely to work in. It also feels very beautiful, and it always feels a bit like a treat when you work in a journal like this with quite luxurious thick pages, and it just feels really nice to kind of work on. So I think I'm going to say that that is my favourite one from the year, but in all honesty I absolutely love every single one of the journals this year that I've used. So then the next question is, what is your favourite pages of the year? Well, page of the year, but I've gone for 2. Again, this is really hard because there are a lot of pages where I've been able to put a lot of time and effort into them. I also took part in a collab on Instagram for a good chunk of the year while we were in a proper lockdown, called the Handmade Collab, and I did some spreads that I absolutely love for that collab. So there's quite a few of those that I really like. But I have had a look through and picked out 2 spreads that I really, really enjoy. So the first one is this spread. This is in a Moleskine journal. I love this for these photos. I mean, my dog's not a cuddly dog, so it's quite nice to have those. We've got some washi tape that I picked up in Korea, so that's quite sentimental for that sense. And then we've got just it's a magazine page, you know, this isn't my work or anything, but I just love how simple it all looks and how it kind of comes together. And then I also have this spread, which I think I don't know, it's absolutely chaotic, but I love it. We've got a quote from Shatami, which I read at the time, because I really enjoy witty novels, and she loves that book, so I gave it a try. I really did enjoy it. And then I've also got some pictures of my dog. Again, that's a bit of a theme. I loved this image, and I'd had this image stored for ages and didn't know what to do with it. And yeah, it's absolutely hectic, and I just absolutely love it. I think it's really a nice page. So the next question is, what supplies did you love this year? So my absolute favourite supply that I discovered this year was the Tombow, I'm not going to be able to pronounce this, Fudenosuke. This is a brush liner pen. Can it focus? Nope. So it's a thinner, let's see if I can get this to focus. It's a thinner tip than the normal kind of Tombow dual brush pens. It's more of a calligraphy pen. I found this, well, I didn't find this. This came to me originally in the Artful box. I think it was their first Artful box. And I absolutely fell in love with it and ordered a couple more. I just love that I can do calligraphy and do brush lettering so simply in my journals now. It works nicely because you can use it in small spaces, so it's great for the planners. Example of that is I'm using a Filofax this year, and actually the small spaces work really nicely with this pen. It just feels gorgeous. I absolutely love it and definitely recommend it. And the follow-up question to that one is, what supplies won't you use anymore? And truthfully, I don't think there's anything particularly that stood out this year. I yeah, I don't really have any particular preferences. I've not really played around enough with different art supplies to kind of formulate that opinion. Like, I'm still kind of easing into the, you know, like using the fountain pens and inks and playing around with different brush pens and stuff. So I don't think there's anything that this year I wouldn't recommend. So we'll see, maybe that will change in the future. And so the next question is, what did you learn from keeping a journal during the pandemic? And I think the answer to this one is to not censor myself in my journals. I think sometimes, because being like on Instagram and stuff, you see pretty artistic journals and you want to do those kind of spreads, and I love doing those spreads, but sometimes they aren't practical. Sometimes you do just have to sit down and write and be brutally honest and get your anxieties and feelings out. And I think that this year's really taught me that you can balance those things. Your journal doesn't have to be one specific thing, you know. It can be 80% beautiful art journal and 20% of just writing those feelings out, and it's a really helpful and healthy thing to do. So yeah, I think that's the biggest thing that this year's taught me, is to just get your feelings down on paper. Whether they're beautiful or whether they're not, they are still justified and still relevant to be in your journals. And I think it's really, really important not to kind of hold back, you know, get those feelings out on paper, and it will help. So then the next question is, what journal are you currently using? So currently I am in this journal. This is from Hobbycraft. It has got a gorgeous fabric cover. I've been using this since the 14th of November, so I've been in it a little while now. It's chunking up and I have about 30 pages left. So this will probably take me a little while longer, but I've absolutely loved being in this. It has beautiful, thick sketch paper style paper, which has just been really fun to play around with, and I've just loved how things have turned out on this. So that is my current one that I'm working on and will be for probably another week or so. But yeah, I really love this one. So the next question is, what challenges did you face regarding your journaling during the pandemic? So I've watched a couple of other people do this tag, and I think a lot of people are kind of saying the same thing, which is that it can feel really hard to kind of write about your daily life when you're doing the same thing over and over. It's kind of hard to just write the same thing and say that, you know, you've done the same thing. And I think that that can sometimes feel a little bit unmotivating. I think that has proved a struggle, and I think that's proved more of a struggle in like my bigger journals this year. So I've actually completed quite a lot of smaller, like pocket-sized journals, because I think that it's easier to flow through them when things feel the same. But then when you're writing them in different journals, it doesn't necessarily feel the same as before. But I've generally found that actually the pandemic has just presented me with more opportunities to journal rather than caused me any challenges, which is a good thing for me, I guess. And the next question is, what are your rough plans for 2021? So I have a video out with my planner plans if you guys want to check that out. But in terms of other plans, I haven't got one. I'll pick up my next journal when this journal finishes, and I'm intending to journal as much as I possibly can, like I did last year, because it really was, you know, my saving grace through all of this. And the final question is, how many journals did you finish in 2020? So in 2020, I finished 85 journals overall, which I know is a bit crazy. So I've got a video up where I've gone through all of those journals, but like I say, it really was the thing that I threw myself into when we were in lockdown. It's the thing that I just did so much of, and it really helped me. And so yeah, that's why I finished 85. Wrong, I finished 18 journals in 2020, personal journals. So the first journal I worked on was this gorgeous white journal. It has navy stars across it and just says dreams. I used this in the winter, like December time, and it took me 13 days of 2020 to finish. As you can see, it was massive, and I think I probably had to abandon it actually because the spine got really damaged from being so big, which is annoying, but what can be done? And then the next one I moved into was this gorgeous journal. This is from Paper Chase, and it just says, the best protection any woman can have is courage. This was a gift from my boyfriend. I really love this journal. I think it's a really interesting size. So it's not even, it's a little bit bigger than like a traveler's notebook size. And it really was like fun to challenge myself to kind of do more different spreads to what I was used to, because it was such a different size. I absolutely loved being in this one. And I did this from the 13th of January to the 8th of February. And I then moved from the 8th of February to the 24th of February. I was in this little Moleskine journal, and I just have Han Solo and Princess Leia stickers on the back. It was Valentine's, so I thought it was quite appropriate. It was very cute and fun to be in. And it was kind of like the calm before the storm, because things started to kind of change in the world a little bit at this point, so things started to be a little bit different. But we then moved into this. So this is a Filofax Flex notebook. I'd previously used it just to take notes and stuff when I was on the go, but I basically made this decision. I'd finished this journal and I was about to move into this journal, but I was I think about like a week off from going to South Korea to see my little sister, and I didn't want to start this journal until I went, because it felt like such a significant moment. So I used this little Filofax. I was in it for 5 days, so from the 24th to the 29th of February, and I just used it to cover those few days, and it was really sweet and fun. I really enjoyed that, and it had been in my collection for a really long time, so it was nice to finally kind of work through that one. And then, as I said, I moved next into this journal. So I moved into this one on the 1st of March, and I was in it until the 4th of April. This is a Moleskine journal. It's gorgeous. I think it's called like the Art Deco design or something like that, but it's really pretty. Like I said, I took this with me to South Korea before everything kicked off. So right as it was starting to come to light about the virus and everything, we went to Korea, which was quite an experience. It was amazing, absolutely amazing, but you know, stressful with everything. We ended up coming back a couple of days early. And then this kind of talks through, I had to do 2 weeks quarantine from work, and then we went into lockdown and stuff. So it was quite a surreal journal to be in. Like, a lot happened, and it's kind of crazy to think that in the space of, what, just over a month, literally a month, so much could change. That I'd been to South Korea and suddenly we were in lockdown, and yeah, this is quite an overwhelming journal when I think about it. It's quite incredible, but it is beautiful, and it's full of such amazing memories, so I am really grateful for this one. And then the next one I moved into is, so this is just a notebook that says, "Don't be a drama llama." This was a gift from my boyfriend for my birthday as well, and there's just a little no-face sticker on the back with a bowl of rice. And I started this one on the 23rd of March, and I carried it through until the 3rd of May. So these two overlapped slightly, because basically I started using the back of this journal as like a place to write about my anxiety and everything that was going on, because obviously, like I say, it was a very, like we all know, don't we, that it was a very confusing time and there was a lot of feelings going on. And so I knew this was going to be the next one I would use, so I just used the back to write down all my anxieties and then moved into the front when I was ready. It's a really fun journal. It's a very surreal thing to look back on, because we were in the midst of lockdown, and yeah, it was very, very strange one to work through, but another really nice one. And then the next one I moved into is this gorgeous notebook that just says "Dear Spring." This was from Daiso, and I was in this one from the 3rd of May until the 27th of May. So I wasn't in it very long. Again, it's a bit of an unusual shape, but I really enjoyed it. It was really fun to be in, and things were feeling better, so it's quite a really nice, positive, spring-filled journal. And then the next one I moved into is this little pocket-sized one. This is from Pie Fingers on Instagram and Etsy. I absolutely love her designs. So this little pocket one I was in from the 27th of May to the 2nd of June. Again, it was very cute to be in. There's a lot of really nice spreads in here. It was short, but it was fun and I loved it. And then I moved into this Midori paper notebook. And then on the front I just have some quarantine stickers. I was in this one from the 2nd of July to the 12th of July, so I wasn't in it very long at all. But it was really good fun to be in and kind of play around with, use the different styles and stuff. It was lush. And then I went back into a bigger journal. I picked up this Milano journal, which is from the company Italia. I've had this in my collection for ages and just love it. It's such a beautiful design. And I was just like, you know what, I can't travel, so I want to use something that feels like summer, feels like travel. So I was in this one from the 12th of June until the 23rd of July. And I loved it. It was so nice to get into. I really connected with it, got a real nice spark going with it, and it's just so beautiful. I really love that design. And I then moved into this journal. This is from Typo and it just says Walking Wine Tour Map Social Isolation Special Edition. I loved it. I think that it's kind of nice to have something to document this time. Obviously the journals do that, but you know, it's a very, very specific thing to 2020, and actually as what it is, it's quite cool to have something like this. I just thought it was nice, it was kind of funny. I thought it was really nice. And ironically, I picked this one up, so on the 24th of July, thinking that we were coming to the end of everything and I would finish this journal and that would kind of be a really nice tie up the loose ends, because we were able to go back into work and things started to change. And it's ironic looking at it now, knowing that actually things didn't change how I thought they were going to. But it's still a really nice journal and a really fun one to have been in. Like I said, I was in it from the 24th of July till the 12th of August. So that was that one. And then also at the same time as doing that one, I picked up this one. This is from Pipsy Puffin Art on Instagram and Etsy. I absolutely love her illustration. It's a beautiful little journal, and I just used this for a little trip away we were able to take in the UK, obviously. But it was nice to document it, keep it separate. And then the next one I moved into was this journal. This is from Glitter and Earth on Instagram and Etsy. I love her artwork. I used this one from the 12th of August till the 26th of August. So it's a nice kind of end of summer journal. And yeah, the pages in this, again, had that really nice, like, sketch pad kind of paper, so it kind of gave me a bit more creative liberty, which was good fun. And I then moved into, like I said, my favourite one from the year. This was my one from my parents for my graduation. I was in this one from the 26th of August until the 4th of October, so I was in this for quite a while, which is really nice. It contains a lot of really nice memories. Things were starting to go uphill a bit more before they went downhill. So this is really nice just because it's kind of, it's a little bit different from the rest of the year essentially. And then things started to go back up again, like we know. So the next one I moved into was coming up to Halloween. So I used this Museum of Context notebook. So the Museum of Context is a shop in Edinburgh based around Harry Potter. I really loved this journal. It was really fun to be in. I actually finished it before Halloween, so I moved into this little one, which is from My Sweet Paper Card on Etsy. I was in this one from the 10th of October until the 2nd of November. Very cute. And then I moved into this tiny little Mr. Do Nothing notebook. He's very, very cute. It felt very appropriate for the downhill battle that was going on. I don't think anything's on that, as you can see. Lockdown 2.0. So yeah, I was in this little one from the 3rd of November till the 14th of November, which is then when I moved into Speedy. And I absolutely am loving being in this. Again, it's very much a roller coaster, unexpected turns and twists, like the rest of the world is experiencing. And I also did a December daily in this little journal. I just stuck this magazine on the front. And yeah, I kept a record of Christmas, stuff that was going on, kind of making the most out of a different situation. So yeah, that is all of the journal tag. I hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you again soon for more journaling videos.